Hello and welcome back to Exit Corners. We are on chapter 29 of 29, Epilogue. I have no idea how this is going to go down. A lot happened. Chapter 28 finale was a huge episode. It was long and we got a lot of information. All of the questions answered. Well, most of the questions answered. We're in a simulation and we crashed it. Is it all over? I don't know. Did it reboot? Are we just gonna go back to the beginning? I don't know. I wanna know. Show me. Who is this person that we're talking to, like, that's in our head? They were like, if you get out of here alive, then we'll talk. So we're gonna try and get out alive so we can talk. But did we just destroy everything? I need to know. Also, it seems like Liza's still around. Because they were like, we're gonna go and find Liza. So like, what happened to her? All weird. Anyway, doesn't matter, it all got cut off. So let's see what happens now. Like, surely they have safety systems, like, in place for a crash. Because the last thing you want is to put your consciousness in technology and then for it to crash. Like, it's annoying enough when your consciousness isn't in technology when it crashes. So yeah, let's epilogue it. What's gonna happen? Show me, game. It's spring, technically. Sure doesn't feel like it though. You can feel the cold seeping in from outside. I've been pacing around in here for what feels like forever. We're alive! I know it's not the same room as before, but it still stirs up bad memories, especially considering you-know-who is mere feet away. It's not the same room as before, but it still stirs up. So this is okay. Upon reflection, I probably should have asked to wait elsewhere. Oh well, might as well just stick it out at this point. What's happening? They said I was free to leave, and though I'm kind of dying to get out of here, I'd never forgive myself if I passed up this opportunity. This might be my only chance to meet with him. So now I'm stuck waiting for... Is this the real life room that this room was based on? Ray! Hey! Why have you got a sling on? Like, his arm didn't actually get chopped off and reattached, did it? Hey! Ah, there you are. I was starting to worry. Huh, my bad. I had more questions than I realized. How's the arm? They don't know. They've never seen anything like it before. Did it get injured in real life because of it being chopped off? It's not dead, and apparently there's nothing wrong with it on paper, but I can't move it. Can you feel anything at least? It's faint, but yeah, a little. Huh. Maybe it's like nerves? Like his brain isn't doing it? That alone has him optimistic, but again, whatever condition I have is a product of corners. No one knows anything about it. That's gotta be frustrating. I may be stuck like this for the rest of my life. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, Ray. It is what it is. Anyway, it's your turning. Finally, where's his office again? Stairs at the end of the hall. He's on the floor above us. Thanks. Off I go then. The trip is a short one, though this apparently used to be part of the university. The building's on the smaller side. Most of the rooms here appear to be empty, though the odd office is stuffed with computer parts or medical equipment. Doesn't seem like this place sees a lot of use. I spot him through a doorway after climbing the stairs. He waves me in. Is it Nolan? Welcome, Ink. Is this Nolan? Yeah, he's got red hair. Forgive the mess. Please, have a seat. It's good to finally chat with you one-on-one, Nolan. Or should I say, Earl? Just as you've changed your name, so have I. Nolan is my name now. Please address me as such. Fair enough, I guess. Fine, Nolan it is. Just don't... Oh, okay. It's still hard to believe that we've been at Bellbridge U this entire time. We aren't on campus, strictly speaking. I annexed this building a number of years ago in exchange for some property downtown. It belongs entirely to me, though few people are aware of this. Makes me wonder what else you're hiding. When are we? You know, what happened? Okay. That's why you're here though, isn't it? Smart ass. I have quite a lot to attend to today, but I've blocked out what I hope is enough time to answer your most pressing questions. I'll answer everything as honestly as I can. I owe you that much. Good, let's get right into it then. Indeed. First off, I'd like to offer an apology for, well, everything. An apology? Are you serious? Your mother is dead. You think an apology is gonna fix things? Of course not. There is no fixing what happened. Not completely. I will, however, take the steps necessary to right the wrongs I have made to the best of my ability, and it all starts with an apology. So she is dead. Shit. You can thank my mother for helping me come to my senses. The letter. Though I managed to secure the capital I sought, I can't help but feel this project was an abject failure. Well, yeah, no shit, if you killed your mother during it. Yeah. I was gonna call them names. I won't. Begins with a C and ends in a T and begins with daft. So they gave you the funding in the end? This sponsor? Oh, yeah, also right, the sponsor. Is the sponsor the person that I could talk to, the observer? And who are they that have got like so much money? Yes, though we ended up altering the deal quite significantly. Our sponsor purchased corners outright. All of the tech, research, documentation, it now belongs entirely to them. What are they intending to do with it? I don't know. Probably for the best. Oh yay, let's just sell things that could potentially be used for extreme bad. Sounds safe. I'm more than happy to wash my hands of corners. It brought out the worst in me. Yeah, no shit. I don't understand how you could let things get as bad as they did. I made some poor decisions in the heat of the moment. Sean had designed exit corners with some contingencies in mind, but the contestants had veered so far off course that I had to make some tough calls partway through to set things right again. More than anything, I didn't want to fail after having come so far. I couldn't risk the sponsor walking away. I'd sacrificed too much. Why were they planning to actually kill? Like, this is what I did. Like, Beth was meant to die in the garden and Ray was meant to die in the machine. How is that acceptable? And so you sacrificed your mother instead. But that was part of the plan all along, right? Sean deceived me into believing it was the right decision. My mother wasn't originally supposed to die. But he literally told us that she was supposed to die in the garden and Ray was supposed to die in the other corner. But you knew it was a possibility. Sean suggested as much. While Sean's choice of words was suspect at best, yes. I knowingly wagered all your lives, and I'm deeply sorry for it. How many of us were supposed to live according to your original plan? Hey, you said you'd be honest with us. I know. Only one of you was slated to die. Ray, yeah, okay. He would have died if Beth didn't save him. Ray? His corner was the only one that was truly fatal. But why? He's an arsonist, and he came very close to hurting my daughter. Oh yeah, revenge. That's no reason to murder someone. Murder's worse than arson, in case that wasn't clear to you. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what our rationale at the time. That was our rationale at the time. I just don't understand how murder in this, how is that going to help the buyer? Unless the buyer is wanting to make a weapon, I don't know. I mean, they're basically making the Matrix, literally. So let me get this right. Where we are? Hold on. So let me get this right. There was no situation where everyone would live. You intended to murder someone from the get-go? That's correct. Does Ray know this? I was able to dodge that question, thankfully. I can't not tell him, you know that, right? And that is entirely within your rights. Please keep in mind that telling him might cause more problems than it solves. The revenge cycle begins again. Ugh, he is right, but I don't understand how you could justify murder like that. I just don't. We'd already consigned to kidnapping and the intentional infliction of emotional distress. I had also been embezzling money from BBU for years. Not to mention, I feigned my death and forged my current identity many years prior. It's horrifyingly easy to continue down a dark path once you've taken your first few steps. Okay, so all I've got to do if I want to murder someone is embezzle. I can't remember all the other things he just listed, but all of those other things, and then, and only then, is murder, okay? Getting away with a crime only emboldens you to commit more. You grow numb to it after a while. I hope you never come to understand what it's like. Seems like you've thought about this a lot. I've scarcely slept since Exit Corner started. I've had a lot of time to think. Do you think Sean and Tiana will feel the same? Sean's a flat-out psychopath. That remains to be seen. I hate to ask, but those two are still in the pods or whatever, right? What's gonna happen to them? I haven't decided yet. My number one priority was ensuring the safety of the contestants, which means putting my colleagues on hold for the time being. They're still sedated and not in any immediate danger. Okay. They'll be dealt with once the rest of you are safely at home. By dealt with, you don't mean... Of course not. Sent for treatment, as it's put in Dishonored. Of course not. I've got enough on my conscience as it is. No, I'm not gonna try and... Oh, I'm gonna try and reason with them instead. I believe that Tiana will leave quietly if asked. She can be bought off if nothing else. As for Sean, he's a more difficult case. I haven't quite decided how to approach him. There's nothing else for it. You've got to put him down. I'm sorry, but... But know this. Your safety is priority number one. You'll never have to see him again. Good. That sort of reminds me. What was the point of our Gemini anyway? Like, why did you give them to us? This is the sort of thing that would be difficult to surmise if you hadn't seen the others' messages for yourself. Essentially, the messages we contact sent you over Gemini were indeed to keep you in the right state of mind, so to speak. You were each being primed for your respective corners. For instance, Sean constantly brought up Ether, did he not? He did, yes, I recognise that. Now that I think about it, yeah, he did seem pretty obsessed with her. Exactly. He was trying to get you to obsess over her in turn. The fact that we were people you trusted worked well to our advantage. We knew we would have to reveal our identities eventually, so there was no point in hiding who we were. That being said, we opted for text-only communication in order to better conceal the fact that Sean and I were acting as contacts for two of you. I guess that makes sense. Seems a little convoluted though, and risky. You haven't the faintest idea. I'm not normally one to lean on gambits quite so hard. I was wondering about that. There had to have been an easier way to get the money you needed than some over-the-top death game, right? It seemed like there was a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong. And hey, they did! Under normal circumstances, you'd be absolutely right. Our sponsor, however, is anything but normal. This is not their first death game, as you so eloquently put it. They have certain proclivity for such games, and were in fact the ones to suggest it in the first place. Oh, okay. Hold on. Are you saying something like this has happened before? Correct. This sort of thing is not altogether uncommon in the certain upper class circles. That's where we met, all those years ago. It's also why we chose the 4 Elements as our virtual setting. The original hotel is where that first game took place. That's so messed up, but I love murder games. Right here in Bellbridge? That's news to me. Yeah, and the person who was in our head was there for that, right? And was telling us about that. So they're just an absolute psychopathic billionaire? But he said it's not for entertainment. Usually things like that are for entertainment. You have got to tell me more. Even if I could, we certainly don't have enough time to go over everything. I know I said I'd be honest with you, and I intend to keep that promise, but that's a story for another time, I think. I want to see it. Let's make that game, please. I'll take part in a murder game set in the hotel in the past. Damn. Well, don't be surprised if I come ask you about it one day. If such an opportunity presents itself, then feel free. A warning though, it's not a happy story. In any case, our sponsor was the only person willing to invest in such flawed technology, the only one willing to give us the amount of money I thought Corners was worth. I can't believe we just sold it instead, like, I thought they wanted a grant to, like, improve it. They just sold it in its current state. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad. And so I agreed to their outlandish terms. You should have just walked away. I should have, but that would have meant giving up. I'd already spent years on this project. In fact, nearly all my life as Nolan Thatcher had been spent working on Corners in one way or another. But a project like this, it sounds like way too much work for just 3 people to handle, even if you are all geniuses. Huh. It was a much simpler project at the start. These kind of things always are. The moment I saw RN though, I knew that both technologies combined had the potential to become something revolutionary. I snapped up the algorithm, and Tiana herself, without a second thought. But yet they wanted to kill Ray. Like, I suppose, yeah, they had personal thing, but also Ray is also a genius. Of course, the scope ballooned out of control as a result, and the project took much longer than I'd imagined. I really should have known better. It was too much work for 2 people, even if I did hire a few contractors for some of the intermediary tasks. 2 people? Not 3? Sean was only brought on when we needed to design an accompanying game. He had no involvement with the project before that. It still sounds like you were way understaffed. You aren't wrong. So Sean designed the murder game, basically. That is... Ink, you've got a bad judge of character, my friend, who have been friends with him for such a long time. You aren't wrong. I was too deep into development to turn back and too stubborn to ask for more help. The project consumed me. It became my everything. That sounds like hell. Why would you do that to yourself? I told you already. Giving up was not an option. That's not what I meant. What I meant was, why did you start this project in the first place? What's in it for you? Didn't you already have all the money you could want? Why pursue some risky golden goose technology? Ah, that. You'll think me naive, but sure, I'll tell you why I did it. Was it for Liza? I thought that if the technology had gotten advanced enough, it might allow for Liza to one day meet her mother. What? When Liza got caught up in that accident, her sight was not the only thing she lost. She could no longer recall a single thing about Marianne, her mother. What about the rest of her family? She couldn't remember anything about any of them either. So that's how she didn't recognize Beth. Like, when she lost her sight, she also kind of lost her memory. Perhaps that was a mercy. She would have had to bear the pain of losing them. Still, I was so very upset, heartbroken, but I thought I could fix things. At first, I thought I could simply restore her sight, albeit in a limited context. And then RN came around. I quickly discovered that if Tiana and I integrated our technologies correctly, we could do the impossible. I believed that we could get the simulation to a point where Liza and I could enter together and she could meet Marianne as I remembered her. Marianne. And that's why I so badly wanted to create Corners, a cerebrally operated refractive node enhanced reality simulation. Should have guessed it. A world that runs on memories and assumptions, for better or for worse. Thank you for telling me, Nolan. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I think you went about this all wrong. I'm listening. You say you wanted to let her meet her mother, and that's fine, but she had a grandmother who'd have been more than happy to support her, and relatives galore, or so I was told. Most importantly, she had a father who loved her dearly, but likely spent far too long on his pet project. She had all the family she needed. Not everything's a complicated puzzle, you know. Sometimes the best answer is the simplest one. That's so good. Thank you for pointing that out, Ink. There was a time in my life where I'd have come to that conclusion myself. Time doesn't always change us for the better. Damn, I didn't expect Nolan to be so depressed. Do you have any more questions? Tons. Are you okay to keep going? I can always come back. I'm fine for now. Please, continue. This one's a little weird, but what's 379? Oh, 379. I totally butchered that number then. That number kept popping up all over the course of the game. What's its significance? Truth be told, I don't fully understand it myself. I have a few theories, but I've been awake for far too long and I'll be honest, it hasn't been a huge priority. If I had to guess, I'm wondering if this is perhaps the Bader-Meinhof effect at work. Do you expect me to know what that is? It's a form of cognitive bias which has a new name, in which a new name, word, or number seems to show up disproportionately often after seeing it for the first time. But I mean also, if we were projecting things into the world, maybe we were doing that? In a world where cognition reigns supreme, I can only imagine how such phenomenon might affect the world around you. It's possible the first time you saw the number, it left such an impression on you that the information suddenly kept popping up everywhere. But who first thought of it and why? But that's just one theory. It could be any number of things. Corners is still not a wholly understood technology, even by me. I see. That'd be what I've been calling the anchor room. We found that having a room that was shared between the simulation and the real world helped with the transition. It likely didn't matter very much for you all, since none of you were even aware of corners' existence, but it helped lessen the severity of the exit corners bug for people like Sean, Tiana, and myself. Wait, what got him talking about the anchor room? I feel like I missed a section there. But also, that's the room with the pods and stuff? Yourself? You weren't in corners alongside us, were you? No, I was supervising from up here along with our sponsors. With our sponsor. The three of us had entered corners many times prior though. We needed to test things after all, even if the ordeal is painful. Gotcha. Next question. Who was that voice in my head? It wasn't you, so it had to have been... Yes, it was our sponsor. They needed to be able to see, hear, and feel what you did to validate the authenticity of the simulation. They were hijacking your consciousness, so to speak, and could even tune into many of your thoughts. Were you watching me the same way? No. I was merely watching a screen with low resolution video and audio. Scent was also reported in periodically. Okay, sure. Still, why was the sponsor allowed to speak to me? What possible reason could there have been for that? We chiefly wanted to make sure that we could prove the simulation was happening in real time. Oh. By giving the sponsor some small measure of influence over you, we helped convince our guests that this game was happening in real time to real people. No script, no actors. Oh, that makes sense actually. Furthermore, our sponsor simply wanted to be able to interact with you in some way. They're quite fond of that sort of thing. I mean, people that, like, enjoy watching murder games be like that, you know? It's just a trait. Their request left me wary, so I tried to set it up in such a way that you'd only hear them on a subconscious level. Obviously, though, you are actively aware that they were trying to communicate with you. If I had to guess, this is likely because you began to desync from corners. I think we were, yes. That's why we felt sick as soon as they mentioned the word desync. Ah, well, that whole thing messed me up pretty bad, so I hope it was worth it. I apologise. I should have tried to find another way to satisfy our guest, but I was tight on time. We had an aggressive deadline to meet, even if it was self-imposed. Self-imposed? That's practically the same thing as having no deadline at all. The reality is that we couldn't spend forever on it. This project was very important to me, but even I didn't want to spend my entire life working on something that may never take off. And there's only so long I could keep spinning my wheels before Tiana got bored and left. It was never going to be perfect, it just needed to work. The hope that we could get some money for funding, and the hope was that we could get some more funding and expand its development. Corners really could not have come about in any other way. It was exit corners or nothing at all. Okay, well, it makes sense. At least we have an explanation to why it had to be a murder game. Because of the sick funder. You know, I think nothing at all might have been just fine. No need to remind me. What other questions do you have? So, I'm a little afraid to ask, but what happened to Ether? Ether, as you know, her no longer exists. Her source code is still intact, but that instance of her has been erased from the system's memory. Then again, so long as she still exists in your memory, it may not be impossible to recover her in some fashion. That's not why I was asking. I was mostly just curious, and I know it's a little silly, but I wanted to make sure that she wasn't, you know, suffering or anything. I see. Well, it's a good thing you don't want to meet her, because I no longer have access to corners. Oh, you've already given it to the sponsor? Yes, at least the most important bits. The rest, including the documentation and the physical equipment, to go along with it are to be delivered within the next few weeks. I'll be very busy. And what about after all that? What will you do when it's all over? Well, first I was going to return the money I stole from the university. With interest. I've been paid back many times over thanks to our sponsor. Following that, I was going to turn myself into the police. What? For real? I won't be telling them about corners. That'd be hard to prove anyway, but I'll admit to forging an identity, embezzling funds, and murdering my mother. Wow. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't think you should. I need to take responsibility for my actions. That's exactly it though. You have a responsibility to make up for the harm that you've done, and I don't think you could do a very good job of that from prison. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. You're clearly capable of achieving amazing things if you put your mind to it. You've got the brains and you've got the resources. Put them to good use. That's what your mother was trying to tell you. Not to throw yourself in a hole, but to lift others out of theirs. Frankly, jail's the easy way out. That's practically given up. How pithy. I'll need to give this a bit more thought then. Good. I mean, he did sound like he wants to give up, but what about Liza? Like, make sure she's gonna get a good life. By actually asking her what she wants, you know? Man, every time he closes his eyes, I'm worried he's about to topple over. Hey, Nolan, are you okay? Sorry, I'm tired is all. Maybe we should stop here for now. You look like you need some rest. I have many loose ends to tie up before I can even think about resting. Still, you're right. I don't know if I can afford to continue this for much longer. Before you leave though, I'd like to end things on a positive note. How so? I want to ensure you understand that I'm committed to your safety and well-being. Firstly, while I may not have been able to answer all your questions in this short period of time, I don't want to leave you waiting for more answers. As such, I'd like you to take this. He's handed me something from off his desk. Wait, is that a thumb drive? This portable drive contains a repository of Corner's development documentation, notes on the game, and chat logs between Sean, Tiana, and myself. Ooh. I'm hoping whatever additional answers you seek can be found within. Thanks, I'll have a look. Secondly, I will see to it that the remainder of your undergrad degree is paid for, and therapy should you need it. Expect details shortly. Wait, what? I expect him to do more than that. I expect him to pay for our entire life for the rest of our life because he got so much money from it. I figured the least I could do was help you finish your English degree. Huh, go figure. Is something the matter? I know I shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, but I was actually thinking about switching programs. English is fine and all, and I'll always love my books, but I never truly felt I was born to be a writer or a teacher, you know? I take it you found a new calling? Yeah, I'm thinking of becoming a detective. Go figure. That'll be no problem at all. I can pull some strings for you. I'd appreciate it. Hey, we're going to detective school! Oh, and Nolan? Get some sleep. Yes, I wanted to tell him to get some sleep. Only after stepping back into the hallway do I realise how bright Nolan's office was. It's only been a few days, but I guess my body was craving sunlight. We're not getting the usual narration anymore because the voice is in our head. As much as I want to head outside right away, I've got one more stop to make. I make my way back to the room with the pods. The anchor room, was it? Oh yeah, the two of them, that's where they are. Shall we spit on Sean? Welcome back. Hey, sorry for taking so long. It's all good. I went out for a smoke partway through. Besides, I took pretty long myself. Thanks for agreeing to wait for me. Well, I did want to go over what Nolan told us. It's not sitting right with me that he split us up like that, you know? Yeah, want to talk about it over some food? I haven't eaten in who knows how long. Sounds like a plan. I'm fucking starving. Let's get out of here. Okay, thank God. I was expecting Sean to come to life or something. We climbed the stairs and headed down the hallway. I'm glad we caught the sun before it vanished over the horizon. The outside air is refreshing, too, if a little cold. What are you gonna do when this is all over? So right, I did learn that depending on your trust, when it gets to the end bit, you can also have Liza with you. When you go to rescue Ether, our trust clearly wasn't high enough, and she left. I wonder if she would have been here. Maybe not, but this gap, I just feel like she should be here. What are you gonna do when this is all over? I don't know. I'm staying in school for sure, but I'm thinking about switching programs. Nolan offered to pay for the rest of my schooling. Same here, actually. Huh? Didn't you drop out? I did, but he said he could help me fast-track a degree for free. Or maybe do it part-time. You gonna take him up on that offer? I don't know, man. It's dirty money. Does that not bother you? I know. And I was like, give me more dirty money. It does, but I don't know. For all we've been through, I think we've earned it. Maybe. I don't like that those guys are getting off scot-free, but I guess there's nothing I can do about it. I wouldn't say Nolan's getting off scot-free. I know. What bothers me is that he gets to. And as far as I know, Tiana gets to keep her squeaky clean reputation. I wish I could get back at them, you know? Ray is short for revenge, right? We know you like a good revenge. You're not serious, are you? I'd never act on it, but the urge is there. It's so hard to sit still and not do anything. I'm worried I'm gonna be angry about this forever. Sure, you could mope about this for the rest of your life. Or you could live. No. Don't worry about other people. Just live for yourself. Live your best life. That's the biggest fuck you could give to them. My best life, huh? I think my best life involves a big bowl of ramen. You know what? I can get behind that. Ooh, end chapter. Game over? Epilogue completed. Hold on then. I really wish that we had a higher trust with Liza, but apparently it's really difficult. Oh, we done it! Oh, questions and answers? Questions/answers? What is this? I don't know if I need to do... If this is just like an FAQ, is this like a separate video? I think there's an alternate ending as well. Hold on. I'm clicking on it. I'm gonna see. Okay, it takes us to the Q&A page. Okay. I guess I'll leave a link to that in the thing. In the video, what's it called? Description. And I think that is it for this video then. So, I don't know exactly what extra there is to do, but I believe there is something extra to do, and I'll do that in a separate video. I don't know how much there is, how different it is, or anything like that. But I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna be told what I have to do, and then I'm gonna do it, and we'll see what that does. And before we sign off from this video, I'm just trying to think if I've got anything to say. Like, I want justice. Like, especially Sean, mostly. Like, he was so happy to murder. He's a murderer. He needs to be locked away. I want to shut him down. So, like, I'm a bit concerned. But I wish we'd have got some closure with Liza. Because she was, like, really cool at the end. I really liked her. Turns out Beth is dead. And Nolan seemed a little bit remorseful. But not enough to me. I don't know. Enough to turn himself in. He's absolutely depressed and exhausted. We just gotta hope he does what we said and make up for it instead of just going to jail. I reckon Ray's arm will heal over time, maybe? I mean, we don't know. It's literally a brand new thing that's never happened before. But, he's, like, got a little bit of feeling in it. So hopefully it's, like, in his brain that's blocking it from working. And that can be rehabbed, maybe? I don't know. But that's what I'm hoping for. I'm trying to think if I had any more questions that we didn't ask. But I don't think I do have any more questions, at least not right now. So I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna like think about everything, and I'll be back with another video and then sum up my final thoughts. But I have really enjoyed that. I feel like extremely smart for figuring out like a lot of what was happening. I'm glad that the whole thing with Aoife happened. And the clairvoyance, like, was just her way of, like, getting out of the fact that she got this information. I mean, technically it wasn't a lie. Like, an AI that's inside people's brains is gonna be clairvoyant. But, like, I'm really glad there ended up being something suspicious about her because, and it's cool that it wasn't the murder, which is what I thought, that she would have done the murder for some reason. But I didn't see that one coming at all. I didn't expect it to be an AI. I thought that was cool. I'm glad that Scent ended up helping us. That was cool. I'm very, like, I really like that the ending isn't just a happy ending. That, like, basically it's, this technology is in dangerous hands right now. That leaves so much, like, uncertainty about what could happen in the future. And we've basically decided it's not our problem. I wonder if we can change, like, in an alternate ending, if we can change that. But yeah, anyway, that's just, like, some thoughts on the story. Really liked it. I've had a lot of fun. And we'll be back with another video featuring something. I don't know exactly. But thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.